I'm conducting a side-by-side test of the microphone capabilities of the NeatPad Gen 1 and the NeatPad Pro. You can see the Sydney demo room has the NeatPad Gen 1 and the Sydney demo MTR has the NeatPad Pro. So I've got the two Bar Pros that these pads are paired with in a completely separate room, shut off, so those mics can't hear me. It's only the mics on the two NeatPads in front of me here that can hear me. Yeah, I've got them just right in front of me at the moment on the table. NeatPad Gen 1, NeatPad Pro, Sydney Demo MTR, Sydney Demo Room. I've got the sound output of both Bar Pros muted, so their volume is down to 0, and I'll take turns muting and unmuting the two different NeatPads. I should note that it's not a completely fair test. It is a bit of an academic exercise. And I say that because the NeatPad Gen 1 cannot do the mic mixing. So it'll switch. So it can only be 100% active or 0% active. It doesn't mix its audio levels with the front of room device or an eCenter. The NeatPad Pro can do mic mixing. So it can mix its audio levels with the eCenter if you had one, or just the NeatBar Pro or NeatBar at the front of the room. And the reason this is academic is because in a real situation, that mic mixing would give a far superior audio experience to what you would expect or what you're going to experience in this test, because the Pad Pro is operating standalone, which is not designed to do. So it's going to be 100%. You'll get an indication of how good the mics work, but the experience would be even better if it was in a room doing mic mixing with other Neat devices. Sort of view of the room from my camera over there, from my mobile phone, just to show where I'm sitting. I'll mute my camera and my microphone, and I'll switch over to both of the NeatPads, and I'll turn voice isolation on and off as well. So you'll hear the difference in that. And I'll share my screen with NeatPulse so you can see what I'm doing. And also with the recording, you'll see the purple square light up around either Sydney Demo MTR, which is Pad Pro, or Sydney Demo Room, which is Pad G1. So you know which room is transmitting audio. So the first test I've got going here is from the NeatPad Gen 1. I'm sitting right in front of it, as you can see from my mobile phone view. I'm just going to check NeatPulse. So we're looking at the system settings for the Pad Gen 1. If we go down to audio and video. So currently voice isolation is on. Cool. The NeatPad microphones are on, obviously. And I will now mute Sydney Demo Room and unmute Sydney Demo MTR, and you'll see the purple square change. So now the audio is coming from Sydney Demo MTR, and this is the one that has the Pad Pro. You can see the purple square has changed. So I'm looking for audio and video, and yeah, just to make it a like-for-like comparison at the moment, voice isolation is on, and obviously the NeatPad microphones are on. So you can see where I am here, right in front. This could be a typical scenario, and you can compare the audio you're hearing from the Pad Pro to the Pad G1 originally. I'll now move around the room and test with voice isolation on, then I'll do the test again with voice isolation off. But my laptop is still muted, as you can see, and the audio is still coming from the NeatPad Pro from the Sydney Demo MTR. And because we've got voice isolation on, if I do this, I'll do this again after voice isolation is off. That swishing sound is quite loud, and you wouldn't have been able to hear much of it, but when I turn voice isolation off, you will be able to hear it. So I'll just go and swap over the two different pads while I'm back here. So we should see the Sydney Demo Room is now active, transmitting audio with the purple square into the recording. So this is coming from the NeatPad Gen 1. I'll do the swishing test. The voice isolation on. So this is Pad Gen 1. I'll just move to another location in the room. From my laptop, you can see that I'm actually talking over the top of my couch to get to those two pads. So they're doing a pretty good job. Now from my mobile phone, you can see where I'm sitting in relation to the NeatPads over there. I should probably talk more in their direction because that would be a more realistic situation for a meeting room. On my laptop, we can see them over there. All right, so this is still the Sydney demo room, talking towards the NeatPad Gen 1. I'll go and change over the mute. Cool, so now I have muted the NeatPad Gen 1, and you can see Sydney demo room is now lit up because it's transmitting audio, and this is coming from the NeatPad Pro. So this is probably only 2 meters away. 1, 2, yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from here, I'm right at the back of my room. This room is quite reverberant. I'm about 4 to 5 meters away from the NeatPad Pro at the moment. I'll come back up and stand here for the Pad Gen 1. About 4.5 to 5 meters away. I am talking over the top of my couch. So this is the Pad Gen 1 picking me up now. Just to compare, sitting right back in front of the NeatPad Gen 1. I'm going to mute it. And now I've unmuted the NeatPad Pro, and you can hear the audio difference. I'll move back over to the table. So still transmitting from the Pad Pro. I'm going to share my screen, go back into the NeatPulse. Yes, I'm looking at the Pad Pro. I want to turn off voice isolation. So you can do this in real time while you're testing. And now you can hear that. I can hear it in my headset. You can hear the reverberation of this room coming through. So that is worse for this room. Generally, voice isolation on is going to be a better experience, but turn it off in some situations if you get a better experience. So while I've got the Pad Pro mic still enabled with no voice isolation, I'll come back here and sit right in front. The view from my phone shows me where I am in relation. I'll go back up to the kitchen and I'll do that swish test. Yeah, I can hear that quite loudly coming through my headset because we've turned off voice isolation. I'll just go to the back of the room with no voice isolation. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, more echoey. I'll swap over the mics again. I'll just come and sit close before I swap the mics, and you can notice the audio is noticeably better. Going to mute the Pad Pro and unmute the NeatPad Gen 1 on the Sydney demo room. I'm still sharing my screen, so let's go back to the Pad Gen 1. I'm going to turn off voice isolation during the call. All right, that's off now. And we'll hear a bit more echo come through. Stop sharing. Oh, actually, before I do, you can see that both devices are in a call. Bar Pro plus Pad Pro, Bar Pro plus Pad G1. Both of them are showing 2 people in the room just because I've got my cardboard cutouts in the room. Stop sharing. So go back to the other places. This is NeatPad Gen 1 coming through from the Sydney demo room. I should talk directly to the pad. This is about 2 meters away. 1, 2, a little bit over 2 meters. Back in the kitchen spot, again talking over the top of my couch. Much more echoey. I'll do the swish test. I can hear that coming through. Standing back at about 5 meters away from the Pad Gen 1, and that's the audio test done.